Hannah, I've known for, it seems like several years now. And
forever.
Forever. That's right. We go way back. And I am so impressed with you and your legal practice and all of the advice and guidance that you've been able to give me. I know one of your specialties, beyond being a social media persona and giving out great advice, one of your legal specialties is family law, and your passion is helping women, divorcing women specifically. So I wanted to visit with you a little bit about you and kind of how this COVID-19 and stay-at-home, shelter-in-place orders are impacting law, and in particular family law. So tell us about you and give us your opinions.
Yeah, sure. Melissa, thank you so much for having me. I love doing absolutely everything with Real Estate Muses. I was thinking if there's one of those #1 fan badges, I'm sure I'm going to get it because I'm like, heart, 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 heart. Oh, new house. Oh, I love it. That was cute.
We'll send you one wherever we can find them.
Yes, wherever.
I'll find one.
So I am primarily a family law and estate planning attorney. And I actually lived in San Antonio and Alamo Heights up until, I guess, coming up on 2 years ago. And I live in Austin now. Now, my family law practice I do between both towns. So I truly the I-35 corridor. Me and that I-35, Bucky's on the way. I mean, I know it like the back of my hand. And so I still am in San Antonio. I think about half my cases are in San Antonio and half of them are in Austin. And I do focus. I always say I help women and good dudes. So I have to caveat that. But I think a lot of reasons why people say, "Why do you only work with women? You never help dads?" No, it's just that I personally am divorced and have 3 kids and have just been through it and always go through it. So I think kind of my highest and best use is to support women in that process, just because I am one, and I understand some of the battles uniquely that we face. So, but some of my best clients are great guys, great dads who, run the gamut. So that's, pretty much me. I have 3 kids, a little puppy, which I'm learning to be a dog mom. It is surprisingly similar to being like a regular kid mom, except you can put them in their like crate for a little bit and not worry about it.
That's right. No one.
I think you might get in trouble with doing that with the kids.
That's right.
Although I'm sure everybody watching this at home wishes they could like get a big kid-sized crate and just be like, here's some snacks, and like close that thing. Just kidding. Corona, with everything on COVID, however we're supposed to say it, it has impacted my practice. I mean, I've been the busiest little bee on the phone. I said they can like hear reverberations through the house. Like, Mom, you're never not on the phone. I'm like, no kidding. But even more so right now, whereas lawyers, a lot of times, like people who do litigation, so court cases, be it about the middle of the divorce or a custody modification on the back end, a lot of what we do often is go to court or mediation. With all of the COVID stuff going on, that's not happening. Unless it's of an emergent situation. Now, I say that with a ... because presiding court in Bexar County this week has opened back up, which opened back up online. Like they're doing things by Zoom and teleconference and YouTube and this and that with the court in San Antonio. So that's a brave new frontier for everybody. Actually, I got a Zoom request before I was on here. An attorney is talking about their experience like today with dealing with how this is all going to work, right? So anyway, one of the main ways that people's cases or potential cases are being impacted is by the courts being shut down, except for essential matters or emergent matters. So for at least the last little bit, I tell my clients, you need stuff more like broken bones, injuries, abuse, right, to get heard. But I think that's changing. And I mean, we're just waiting to see a little bit. I don't have anything currently set in court, so I'm hoping to learn from others' experience a little bit. And then from that perspective, there's less court, which may be like, oh yeah, less court. Well, the way that plays out for a case is you have less sort of meat or leverage to say, well, if we don't agree to this, then fine, we'll just set it for a hearing. Well, there's no hearing to have, right? So that changes the way you have to approach things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, look, we need to come to some sort of an agreement because we're not going to have a judge to do it for us. Now, another interesting thing with mediation, a lot of the mediators are doing Zoom mediations. So
Okay.
that's kind of like how we're talking, right? Via mediation. I haven't done one yet. And I think for some cases it could work. For others, we need everybody stuck in the room together to like get it done, or not together, but in the same building. Um, so we'll see on that. So that's sort of one practical thing with the court change. Then the other thing is, I think a lot of people want to know, like, can I still get divorced? Like, can I still do anything?
Right. Yeah. So if
And
like, the stay-at-home or shelter-in-place orders, if that's like the final nail in the coffin, like what does that mean for folks that are
yeah,
like,
I
this
mean,
is it, I'm done.
it has a couple things, right, to think about. So whenever you first get divorced or you file a custody modification because you're already divorced, you have to file a petition. And the
Okay.
thing about a petition, which these are on my firm's Facebook, like I have some videos, Family Law 101, if somebody wanted more info, but generally speaking, it's the thing that starts the lawsuit called a petition. And with that, you have to get it served, A, or B, a waiver of service. So with the service piece, if they won't agree, and a lot of times people won't agree, you don't get agree, that's why you're getting divorced. So if they won't sign off on the waiver, you normally would get them served, but you
Right.
can't get them served, right? So then it's slowing down getting the process started. And I want to say I read that all the answer deadlines are told through June, into May, June. Oh, wow. So,
Okay.
like, even if you served them, they have more time to do what they initially need to do in a case. So, all that to say, my best advice to people, if you're safe, so like it would be a totally different conversation if you or your children are unsafe. We always call the cops, we do things faster. But your best case, especially for ladies, I mean, I'm talking especially to them, would be just keep doing what you've been doing, right? Like you've made it this far by putting up with his baloney. So keep putting up with it a little while longer, biting your tongue, like just get through it. Or like come to, as somebody said the other day, a shaky truce. So like just sort of, yes, maybe you feel like you hate each other, but maybe you can agree, like, let's just be decent roommates, right? Like through this process, we can't in the middle of this blow everything up because everybody's in the house. So it's not going to just affect you, it's going to affect your children. They are going through quite a bit right now, in their own lives and processing all of this, heartache that their school year's base, I think, is over, right? That's probably
Yeah.
over. And then you're going to add this and their whole, I mean, think of how that's going to go. So you have to truly, truly put your emotions and thoughts to the extent you can to the side. And one thing you can do, if it will make you feel better probably, is to prepare, but you have to do it carefully, right? Because you're in the house. So
Right.
you can't have your X factor, hear you on the phone, and you need to assume that he or she is going through your phone. Okay. So like you have to be sort of privacy worried, but this is a time where you could have lawyers like getting things going, reviewing your evidence, getting your case worked up so that when it's undone, boom, you're ready to go. So I
Yeah.
think it's a good time to plan. It's a good time to get prepared. It's not the best time to roll a grenade into the middle of your life because we're all just trying to like make it,
Yeah.
and save the world, kind of, right?
And
So,
I have one other question for you, kind of when you're saying getting planned and prepared, and the other, end of your business, which is estate and kind of wills and, planning for your family. Like, what advice and tips do you have for folks that don't have a will, that are, that don't have a
do it. I
work
can already answer. Yep. Do it right now.
right?
Like, and I made a video, actually, it's going to come out tomorrow morning, about this. And I usually only make videos about family law because I don't want people to be super confused. Like, that often I'll feel like I'm trying to sell you something, which I guess kind of I am, but I'm trying to sell you the thing you need to help yourself. Like, I don't
Right.
care if you buy it from me or not, but it's truly because I really care. Because here's the thing. So, that's what I talk about in my video is, if imagine the worst case corona situation, and you, like, especially think about like a single mom or a single dad, worst case, and you go, you have shortness of breath, you go in the hospital, they keep you, they quarantine you, all of a sudden you're on a ventilator. Okay. What about medical decisions for you? And sometimes people will have medical powers of attorney that list their ex that they never revoked in their divorce. So if that's you, you need to call me or some estate planner that you know, like straight A way to fix at least that. Because people, like, when they think about estate planning, they automatically think about a will. Yes, we need a will. Okay, sure. That is not my biggest worry for you. My biggest worry is a medical power of attorney and what's called the statutory durable power of attorney. So there's a money one and a medical one. Those two are absolutely essential to get done. Okay. So that way, the money one, in that same COVID, you're in the ventilator, pretend, God forbid, and your bills are due, your business needs to write checks to the employees, your house deal needs to get closed, right? If you have a statutory durable power of attorney, the person who holds it, if you grant them like that authority, they can do that stuff. Otherwise, what, it's going to be a big mess. So you can you need to do, let me say this, you need to do both of those documents while you have the capacity and ability to do so. And yes, a will. So like that would be great. And people often think like, oh, well, I don't know who's going to get the china, I don't know where it doesn't have to be that detailed. It can be this, like, if I die, leave everything to my sister, leave everything to my kids, whatever. It avoids probate, or it doesn't avoid probate, but it avoids like a protracted litigation, intestate probate situation. Okay. Which, even if you're like, well, I don't have that much stuff, probably you have a car, probably have some bank account with some money. You may have life insurance through your work. There's some stuff you need to dispose of. And some of that you can do outside of the will, like with life insurance, which we help people talk through, but some of them you need that will, right? So, um, one one thing that about doing all of this, like, I think the need makes sense to people, but a lot of times people know like, oh, I have to get that stuff notarized, right? So if I can't go, to the doctor, surely I can't go to a notary. So there are some workarounds to do that we're working on, because with the will, you need 2 witnesses and a notary. So you need 3 people to do it. So there's a way where you can basically like look through a glass and do it and yell through the window and touch with new pins, and everybody wears gloves, and we can do it. It is a bit more annoying and complicated in this time, but there's a workaround. And the Texas estate planners and probate lawyers are also working with government officials to try to get something that's a bit easier to deal with to work around this, but that's not done yet. Oh, one thing though, on the powers of attorney documents, you can do those with online notaries, or at least we think that you can. So even if you couldn't get the will thing done, you can do the ancillary documents. So I talked about the 2 powers of attorney. You need a HIPAA. There's some other stuff that goes with it, with all of my plans that I do, and that probably your lawyer, whoever lawyer, would do for them. But this is something not to put off, and I think that the reality of this, brings it a lot closer home. Oh, one thing people might care about is a lot of times lawyers will kind of work with you on the fee, in that whatever the fee is, they might take like half up front and then half when it's done. So say you got it started now, and then in 2 weeks you get paid, you can pay the other half. Right. And people say like, how much does all that cost? It depends. Anywhere from like, you're usually over $1,000, and it depends on your circumstances and whatever. I think somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000, and half. A lot of people will do half up front and then half when you have your drafts. So, just to give you an idea on cost, what it would take. Some people may do it cheaper than that, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I appreciate all that insight, and just knowing that the courts are still kind of working and turning in some form or fashion. But I think it's really important that we all have everything, or planned for a worst case scenario, so that we can, not have to worry about that in the moment, for sure.
Yeah, I think my best advice to people would be, not necessarily from legal, but just as a person, is don't make long-term decisions based on short-term emotions. So keep in mind that this is a heightened situation. Its tensions are high, stressors are high. You may feel like you want a divorce. Like I saw this image that was like, ladies, you're going to be begging Jolene to come take your man by the time this quarantine is over.
I did. I saw that yesterday.
Yeah. So that may be the case, and it may expose cracks that were there that you sort of like covered up with baseball practice and all that. But, it may not be the worst idea to table those thoughts, talk to a lawyer about your options, but not pull any triggers on legal action until some of the dust settles, if that's it. Now, for some people, they've been thinking about this for a long time. This is like confirmation, time to do it now. So you can. It just will be a little bit wonky as we all figure it out. And just make sure for people, whatever lawyer you use, that they're sort of the sort of person who's upfront with you, that we're all figuring it out and we don't have it all like totally squared away, but we're trying, just like everybody with their job, like, how do we do this?
How do we do this? We're all figuring it out together for sure. Well, I sure appreciate your time and all of your legal expertise and knowledge that you have imparted on me through our friendship and over the years, and for your advice, because you have helped me with my estate planning and getting my affairs in order. And luckily, we got it all done before COVID. Who would have known? But I've not lost sleep over that at all during this pandemic.
I know, it's very like you feel sort of like, I'm meant to do
this already. Yeah. Right? I've got it. I know. But I would definitely second your encouragement to everybody to plan and prepare for the worst. That way, it won't even be an issue. That will ensure that things will go smooth, and this will just be our stay at home, and we'll all be healthy at the end of this. So thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Melissa. And I'm sure that the lovely ladies at your office will tag our firm's page just in case anybody wants to follow. You might find some free answers to your questions about divorce and stuff like that there. And you'll find my number if you have questions and want to call or want to talk about anything. I'd be happy to help any of them. What are people, Muse followers, Musettes, or like, we got to think of what all the groupies are called. The Musettes. I'm a Musette. I want to be the founding member.
All right. That sounds like a fun club. But we've got all of your info in the feed. So we'll make sure that when your video drops tomorrow that we share that on our page too, because I think that's really pertinent information and very important. So thank you very much for your time. And it was great to see you. And quarantine suits you well. You look wonderful.
Oh gosh, I know. It's like kids. I got to my son said, Mom, what you look so like dressed up. Where are you going? Like, oh yeah, I just happened to like actually dry my hair today. Son, sorry.
I'm in the office. What do you mean? I'll be in the other room.
Yeah, I'll be in the closet office. Bye. All right, Melissa, you and the kids and everybody take care. Thanks for everything.
Thank you. Good talking to you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.